Recently, Allies for Justice had the good fortune to interview my great friend Charlotte's nearly 80-year-old mother. She's not going to look 80. Let me just get you ready for that. A living legend of Black history in Mississippi. Miss Doris Smith shared some valuable insight and experiences about the challenges she faced when she moved to a segregated state in the 1960s. Here's a segment of that conversation, and we hope you'll value her memories and insights as much as we do. Would you mind sharing with us what church you go to and how you came about a member of the church where you and Charlotte attend? That'll be our last story, and I can't wait to hear it.
Okay, I am a member of First Presbyterian Church in Pascagoula on Ingalls Avenue. And we joined that church because after I graduated high school, I went to a Presbyterian college, Stillman College in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And I liked the service. I liked the denomination as a whole. I like the fact that the Presbyterian Church is the representative of the United States government. Our leaders are elected by the congregation. Our pastor and all of the deacons and the elders are all elected to represent the congregation by the congregation. After moving to Mississippi, the churches, everything was segregated, so I didn't ever try to go there. Charlotte had been born and was probably about 9 months old. I had met the pastor of the church at that time, and he knew about the fact that I had been to Stillman, and he invited me to come join them. He said, come to church to see us. And I wasn't sure how to take that. I studied on it for a while, and then eventually one Sunday I said, well, we'll go into the Presbyterian Church. Got my two.
For those of you who may be watching and don't know what we're insinuating, the Presbyterian Church was predominantly white, correct?
Totally white.
Totally white.
Predominantly. But it's not because you can't attend there anymore. I mean, you can go there if you choose to. But at that time, of course, it was just so much going on, and you were fearful because that first Sunday that I attended, had both of my children, and I thought surely I would be turned around at the door. I was expecting them to say, you can't come worship with us. But they did not. They invited me in, and they treated me cordially. And after about the third Sunday, with Charlotte being such a rambunctious little 1-year-old, 1.5-year-old, they invited me to take my daughter to the nursery. And I was fully shocked. I was, oh, really? And then they said, yeah. So, well, where is the nursery? I've just always gone to the front door and went in the church. And one of the elders said, come and I'll show you. So that was the beginning of my relationship with the Presbyterian Church. And I actually joined there in 1970. I started attending in 1968.
How many people left?
Well, a few left. I don't know how many, but I do know of 2 exactly that did leave because of that, but they came back. So it's been a wonderful relationship with that church. I have many, many friends in that church. Enjoy the service still. Raise both of the children in that church. And we've all become elders and deacons at one time or another. We've all 3 of us have been ordained deacon and elder. My oldest daughter is an elder still. And so it's, it's just signs of change, that had to come about and soften their hearts. Hearts of the people had to be softened because, naturally everybody didn't agree with me being there.
They
Right.
pushed back. What were the challenges with that?
Well, there were no challenges. In fact, the choir director at that time called me out and said, why don't you join the choir? Someone in the congregation had been hearing me sing and told him, I suppose, and he said, why don't you come join the choir? Well, I hadn't even joined the church at that time. And I thought about that for a long time. And then I did eventually join the choir before I joined the church. So I had no problems with any of the choir members or anything like that, or where to sit and, nothing like that. So it's a pretty liberal church as far as accepting different races into the congregation. We had a pastor there then that was really for me in saying that he would resign from the church as pastor if they did not let me join. He didn't tell it to me, but I heard it later. So he was really, for me.
Ahead of his time.
Yeah, he was ahead of his time. A lot of people were ahead of their time back then. It was in the 60s and 70s. It was pretty rough.